the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Susan every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio. One AFP for a stronger Philippines.
Philippine Air Force mobilizes rescue teams and air assets for Cebu earthquake response. Philippine Army deploys 587 troops for Cebu earthquake relief operations. COMELEC confirms postponement of Barm parliamentary elections. Cebu earthquake death toll climbs to 72.
Hello to everyone, especially to our troops at Camp Emilio Ginaldo in Quezon City. Today is Friday, October 3, and this is AFP Committee News, your source for the updates on the armed forces and other developments across the country. I am Rolf Susan Abba here to bring you today's stories.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
For the brief overview of our news, the Philippine Air Force deployed its search, rescue, and retrieval teams and air assets to assist communities hit by the 6.9 magnitude earthquake in Cebu. Joint responders retrieved 6 cadavers in Bogo City, while a C-130 aircraft delivered evacuation kits, medical supplies, and rescue equipment to Lapu-Lapu City. The operations involved the 228th Airlift Wing, Tactical Operations Wing Central, Air Mobility Command, and Air Defense Command. Philippine Air Force reaffirmed its commitment to provide swift humanitarian support and sustain relief efforts for affected communities.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
The Philippine Army has mobilized 587 troops since September 30 to support humanitarian assistance and disaster response in quake-hit Cebu. Army units, including the 53rd Engineer Brigade and Joint Task Group Cebu, remain engaged in search, rescue, retrieval, and clearing operations across Bogo City, San Remigio, Daumbantayan, and Medellin. Responders have safely evacuated 292 families from affected municipalities. The Army continues to work with local government units, agencies, and volunteers to speed up relief and recovery efforts in Cebu.
Armed Forces Radio.
And now let us hear updates from Shaira about NDFL-CAC assures no ghost projects under Barangay Development Program.
Yes, good afternoon. The National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict assured the public that all projects under the Barangay Development Program are properly implemented and monitored. Executive Director Ernesto Torres Jr. said that strict guidelines and stakeholder oversight prevent substandard or ghost projects. The BDP provides essential services such as roads, classrooms, water systems, health stations, and electrification in conflict-affected areas. Monitoring is conducted through the Department of the Interior and Local Government Subaybayan Patrol System. This is Shai Rivera reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Shaira.
DWDD National News.
And now for our national news, the Commission on Elections announced that no parliamentary elections will be held in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao this year. COMELEC Chairperson George Erwin Garcia said the polls originally set for October 13 were reset to March 31, 2026 following a Supreme Court order. This marks another postponement of the first BARM elections initially planned alongside the May midterm polls. The Supreme Court also declared BAA number 77 and BAA number 58, which cover the region's districts, unconstitutional.
DWDD National News.
The Commission on Audit reported for non-existent flood control projects worth 350 million pesos in Bulacan to the Independent Commission for Infrastructure for further investigation. The projects under the Department of Public Works and Highways Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office were supposedly implemented by SYMS Constructions Trading. Top-Notch Catalyst Builder Incorporated, and 888 Construction and Supply Incorporated. Site inspections conducted last September revealed no actual projects, prompting COA to classify them as ghost projects. COA released an initial list of individuals who may face charges for graft, malversation, falsification of documents, and violations of procurement laws.
Forces Radio.
On the other line, let's hear more from Mike about Night ID marks its 21st anniversary, hails gains in Bicol peace efforts.
The Philippine Army celebrated the 21st founding anniversary of the 9th Infantry Spear Division at Camp Ilias Angeles, Pili, Camarines Sur, and highlighted its victory against communist insurgents. Army Vice Commander Major General Efren Morados praised 9ID for dismantling CTG structures and neutralizing leaders while also delivering government services in conflict-affected areas. He challenged the division to further strengthen its role in securing southern Luzon. With over 6,000 soldiers, 9ID continues to advance peace and development in Bicol in partnership with local communities and stakeholders. This is Mike reporting for AFP Community News, 1AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Mike.
DWDD National News.
Local governments in Cebu and nearby provinces immediately mobilized the early recovery and rehabilitation efforts after the magnitude 6.9 earthquake. According to the Department of the Interior and local government, LGUs have started using their local disaster risk reduction management fund to support affected communities. The fund covers temporary shelter, food, livelihood and medical assistance, as well as rebuilding homes and restoring infrastructure under the Build Back Better framework. The DILG assured that all expenditures follow each LGU's local DRRM plan and annual investment program.
DWDD National News.
The death toll from a powerful earthquake in the Central Visayas of Region 7 rose to 72 on Thursday, according to rescuers. The government said 294 people were injured and around 20,000 had fled their homes. Nearly 600 houses were wrecked across the north of Cebu Island, and many are sleeping on the streets as hundreds of aftershocks shake the area. Cebu Provincial Governor Pamela Baricuatro also appealed for help, saying thousands needed safe drinking water, food, clothes, and temporary housing, as well as volunteers to sort and distribute aid.
Forces Radio.
And now some information from Gina about Philippine Army warns public against scammers using CGPA's name. Go Gina.
Yes, Raf, the Philippine Army urged the public to stay vigilant against scammers impersonating Commanding General Lieutenant General Antonio Jean Navarrete. A certain Miss Jenny Santos was reported using a Viber number to solicit money in his name. The Army stressed that the Commanding General does not conduct any transactions through unofficial means. Authorities encourage the public to report such fraudulent activities to help stop these scams. This is Gina reporting for AFP Community News, 1AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Gina.
DWDD National News.
Aftershocks from the magnitude 6.9 earthquake that struck Cebu last September 30 could continue for weeks and possibly months. PHIVOLCS had recorded 3,036 aftershocks, of which 586 were plotted and 15 were felt. The tremors ranged from magnitude 1 to 5, according to the agency's monitoring station in Medellin. PHIVOLCS Seismological Observation and Earthquake Prediction Division Chief Winchell Sevilla said, such a strong earthquake, the aftershocks can usually be felt for weeks or 4 months. But she added that as time goes by, the aftershocks will weaken.
DWDD National News.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. ordered the creation of a tent city that would serve as temporary shelter for citizens affected by the fatal 6.9 earthquake that struck the province. Marcos visited Bogo City and Cebu, one of the worst hit areas in the province. Speaking to the media, Marcos said the earthquake has made it dangerous to stay indoors. even in evacuation centers. He explained they will get large tents and set them up. These are the tents that were used during COVID-19 that are quick to set up, and even if it rains, there will be no problem. They also vow that there will be adequate food and water supplies as well as energy.
Armed Forces Radio.
From our report on the ground, let's hear the report of MJ about PBBM administers oath to newly promoted AFP generals and officers.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. administered the oath of office to 29 newly promoted generals and flag officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, along with 14 graduates of foreign pre-commission training institutions at Malacanang Palace. President Marcos reminded them that leadership entails integrity, discipline, and accountability to the people. After the ceremony, the officers paid a courtesy call on AFP Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. at Camp Aguinaldo, Quezon City. The promotions and commissioning mark both professional growth and the strengthening of the AFP's leadership core. This is MJ reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, MJ.
DWDD National News.
Meanwhile, the magnitude 6.9 earthquake disrupted the livelihood of more than 711 tourism workers and damaged at least 80 establishments across Cebu and nearby provinces. The Department of Tourism said several cultural landmarks in Cebu, including the Archdiocese Shrine of Santa Rosa de Lima in the Ampantayan San Isidro Labadrol Church in Tabogon and Museo Sugbo in Cebu City, sustained heavy or partial damage and are closed for inspection. Hotels and resorts were also affected. In northern Cebu, resorts in San Remigio such as Poffer Beach Resort and Maayos San Remigio were forced to shut down, while in Bantayan Island, Anika Island Resort and Jelly's Haven remained open despite the minor damage.
DWDD National News.
For our weather update, Tropical Storm Paulo has slightly intensified as it continues to move west-northwest over the Philippine Sea. This prompted the State Weather Bureau Pag-asa to raise Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal number 2 over several provinces in northern and central Luzon. As of 4 p.m. yesterday, the center of Paulo was located 480 kilometers east of Infanta, Quezon, or 480 kilometers east of Baler, Aurora. Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal number 2, which indicates possible gale force winds within 24 hours, is now hoisted over Isabela, northern Quirino, northern Nueva Vizcaya, Kalinga, Mountain Province, Ifugao, and northern Aurora. Residents in these areas may experience minor to moderate threats to life and property due to strong winds.
Armed Forces Radio.
From Puff Simog, let us hear from Sean about Philippine Air Force ramps up disaster response in Cebu, delivers relief to Babuyan, Claro.
The Philippine Air Force continues to deliver vital support in disaster response operation across the country. In southern Luzon, PAF helicopters were deployed to Mindoro and Romblon to conduct aerial surveys and ferry relief operations goods, in close coordination with government disaster agencies. Up north, the Air Force completed its relief operation mission to Babuyan Carlo in Cagayan on October 1st, airlifting 190 sacks of rice to remote islands devastated by typhoons Nando and Opong. The operation was carried out with the support of the Philippine Marine Corps and civilian volunteers. Meanwhile, in the Visayas, following the 6.9 magnitude earthquake in Cebu, the Air Force airlifted Army engineer of the 53rd Engineering Brigade aboard Black Hawk helicopters to Bogo City for rescue, clearing, and recovery operations. Through the sustained efforts, the Philippine Air Force reaffirms its unwavering commitment to humanitarian service, ensuring that critical aid and support reach every Filipino community in times of crisis. This is Sean Berganyo reporting for AFP Community News, One AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Sean of Puff Simog.
DWDD National News.
For other national news, the Caritas Philippines, the Humanitarian Development and Advocacy arm of the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, appealed for donations for victims of severe tropical storm Opong in Masbate and Romblon. Caritas said that residents of Masbate and Romblon are in need of food packs and non-food items. These include essential household items, sanitation kits, potable water, solar lamps, generation sets, and medicine, especially for treatment of wounds. Aside from these items, people are requesting construction materials for rebuilding houses and churches as well as interim livelihood for affected families. Caritas said that the dioceses of Masbate and Romblon remained without power and have been relying on generator sets. No former evacuation centers are available in the provinces.
DWDD National News.
The Public Attorney's Office announced that all 90 minors who were arrested by the police during the September 21 anti-corruption rally have been released without being charged for any offenses. Their release was facilitated by the Department of Social Welfare and Development. PAO Chief Persida Rueda Acosta and PAO Manila Head Patrick Montemayor said 60 of the released minors were required to perform community service. Montemayor added that their parents had first undergone a parental assessment just to make sure that they were properly turned over to their respective families.
Armed Forces Radio.
Let us hear from Meljoy of First Year G about MBLT 8 incorporates to its ranks new second lieutenants.
Yes, Rolf, the Marine Battalion Landing Team 8 officially welcomed 4 new second lieutenants who just completed the Marine Officer Basic course. They were subjected to the 8-point incorporation challenges of MBLT 8 for second lieutenants to test their strength, resilience, and leadership as they joined the ranks of the most ready force in Ilocos Norte. These challenges included a combat run, ammo can press, low and high crawl, body drag, fireman's carry, ammo can carry, assemble and disassemble of firearms, and map reading. The event culminated in a ceremonial handshake led by Lieutenant Colonel Mark Quinty Obaldo, Philippine Navy Marines General Staff Corps, commanding officer of MBLT-8, together with the personnel of the unit, signifying the formal welcome of these young Marine officers into the proud ranks of MBLT-8. This is Meljoy Nesho Oroco reporting for AFP Community News. One AFP for stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Meljoy of First Year G.
DWDD National News.
The organizers of the Trillion Peso March are staging another major protest against corruption on November 30, Bonifacio Day. The Church Leaders Council for National Transformation has joined other faith-based organizations and civil society groups to form the Trillion Peso March movement. They will hold various activities to sustain outrage over the money lost to corruption and government projects. These activities include wearing white ribbons, organizing noise barrages and candlelight vigils, fasting, and holding masses. Organizers said details are still being finalized for the November 30 rally.
DWDD National News.
The use of temporary and improvised license plates will be prohibited starting November 1. Land Transportation Office Chief Vigor Mendoza II said the ban would be enforced as the agency cleared the backlog of license plates for motorcycles and four-wheel vehicles. Mendoza advises those who have not yet claimed their license plates to do so to avoid any inconvenience once the policy is implemented. He said motorists should no longer use improvised or temporary plates since there is no more backlog. Under Joint Administrative Order 2014-001, violators face a fine of 5,000 pesos and confiscation of their temporary or improvised license plates.
Armed Forces Radio.
From NOLCOM, let's hear some information from Joanne about PLGU Kalinga recognizes 5th ID as Kalinga Peace Partner at Gabi ng Parangal.
The 5th Infantry Division stepped into the spotlight at the Gabi ng Parangal, a night of recognition and solidarity held at the Kalinga Sports Center on October 1, 2025, receiving major recognition for the role as co-lead organizer of the 125th Civil Service Month activities. The honor specifically highlights the commitment of the 503rd Infantry Brigade and the 103rd Infantry Battalion as they transition from being military defenders to genuine community partners. The centerpiece of this effort is the Kalinga Convergence for Resilience, Empowerment, Sustainability, and Transformation, or KCRES, proposed by the 103rd Infantry Battalion. KCRES is the fifth ID's proof that governance and essential services must be implemented effectively at the grassroots level. This initiative is the heartbeat of the division's efforts for driving sustainable peace in Kalinga Province. The success of the Serbisyo Caravan and other month-long activities, which serve hundreds, fully captured the spirit of Lingkod and strengthen the vital connection between government and the people. In his inspirational message, Major General Gulliver L. Sinieres, commander of the 5th Infantry Division, drove home a powerful message about service and trust. Major General Sinieres highlighted KCRES as clear evidence of the uniformed service dedication to community welfare, strengthening the path toward lasting peace in Kalinga. This is John Sagauk reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you, Juan from Nolcom.
Forces Radio.
And more updates from Jimboy. Second ID opens basic military training for 270 new KAAS in Rizal. Go ahead, Jimboy.
The 2nd Infantry Division formally opened the Kapu Active Auxiliary Basic Military Training Class 167 to 172 at Camp General Mateo Kapinpin, Tanay, Rizal. Colonel Virgilio Hamas Jr., Assistant Division Commander for Reservists and Retirees Affairs, spearheaded the ceremony for 270 recruits, including 9 females. The trainees will undergo 45 days of military discipline, skills training, and community defense orientation. Upon completion, they will serve as force multiplier in strengthening peace and security across southern Tagalog. This is Jimboy reporting for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Thank you so much, Jimboy.
DWDD National News.
The Philippine Cancer Society has expanded its Access to Cancer Treatment Now campaign to accelerate cervical cancer treatment and immunization efforts across the country. This is in line with Breast Cancer Awareness Month. PCS President Dr. Corazon Ngilangel said that the group has included early detection initiatives for cervical, lung, and liver cancers in addition to its original focus on breast cancer. She mentioned they added the focus on cervical cancer because this has something to do with not only early detection, but also vaccination or the HPV vaccination and cancer awareness. The expanded campaign introduced in Quezon City was attended by 9 local government units, showcasing their best policies.
DWDD Armed Forces News.
And that concludes today's broadcast, and thank you for tuning in, especially to our audience on AFP Radio DWDD's Facebook page. Be sure to join and catch us again next week for more stories and updates, same time and same station. Once again, this is Rob Susan Abay for AFP Community News, 1 AFP for Stronger Philippines.
Behold the latest military news update. This is AFP Community News, hosted by Rob Susan every 12 noon, Mondays to Fridays. Only here on DWDD Armed Forces Radio, 1 AFP for a Stronger Philippines.
Kayo ay nakatutok sa DWDD AFP Radio. Kami po ay kasapi ng KBP, Kapisanan ng mga Broadcaster ng Pilipinas.